So here is R2D2 finally in my house. I was able to get one online using that Tracker Lacquer app. I gave up going to the local store and dealing with the Home Depot email alerts. Nothing was being sent to me, and I'm seeing people buying them or actually receiving them by using that Tracker Lacquer app. I've got a walkthrough on just taking the box down and looking at the shipping. And I also have a fix on how to handle the base if it's making that clunking noise. So I apologize for some of the background noise you're going to hear in this video. I didn't realize my 3D printer was making so much noise that the video camera was going to pick it up. And there's also a rather loud TV in the background that I apologize for. But hopefully this video can help a few people out. And hopefully you can find one. Alright, so I can see why I guess this thing is getting damaged. All I did was take a box cutter and cut the tape off. And there's no packing on the top. So when we open the lid, you can see the base is right on the top of this with zero packing. And there's really not a lot of packing material in there in general. So let's get the base there, and the dome is in the upper left corner. That seems to be the most problematic part that I've been seeing people talk about. So let's get that out of there and see what it looks like. This part of the base looks fine. This part's good. I guess with the dome being in the corner, that's the problem. If that corner gets dinged hard, it could get damaged. Okay, so this is what we're looking at. This looks okay. I don't see any obvious damage, which is good. Even if there would be a minor ding in it, I'm okay with that. But this looks very healthy. There's a couple of weird little dents here and there. I don't think that has to do with shipping. I know a lot of people are going to repaint this. I have no intentions of going to that craziness. I might put that LED panel back here that I've seen people do with the lights. That would be a nice little upgrade to do. And from what I understand, there's a panel in the back. Yeah, so you can just remove this piece and then replace that. So the wiring in here looks okay. I don't see any issues here so far. Alright, so let's get the rest of it out of the box. Now I read that somebody got two of the same feet, which wasn't very cool because there's no way to use it if you had two of the same feet. Alright. So the base has the center foot on it. Alright. This looks okay. I'm going to back the camera up so we can get a better look at it. So there's some gears in here. I guess that's what spins the dome around for R2. Some more wiring. There's a speaker. Speaker looks about to be maybe 4 or 5 inches in diameter. And from what I can see, this looks healthy. It does have weathering on it. Not the most impressive weathering, but hey, it's not bad. For the price, the size, this is a treat for sure. Alright, so that's what's left in the box, are the 2 legs and some Christmas lights, which I'm not going to be putting on R2. And the actual base is on the bottom, so I guess that's some sort of a trim plate that I first saw on the top of the box. All right. This looks healthy. I don't see any damage. Now, just so people know, he does not actually roll on his feet. The base is what makes him move. The base is what makes it a lot larger to fit into a corner of a room because of the base. In some ways, I would like to not use the base, but on the other hand, if he doesn't do anything but turn his head around, you'd like to see him move a little bit. So it's a tough decision to make. Alright, so we'll go for the other leg. Hopefully it's the other side. It's not a duplicate. Alright, so this part looks good. This is his other leg. Somewhere there's supposed to be a control box in here. As he gets mounted to the bottom of the base, or I guess maybe the base has the box already installed in it. Alright, so these are the bulbs, if you want to doll them up with some Christmas bulbs. I'm not going to be using this. Alright, here's his dome. For some reason they don't install that, so we'll see what that's about. And there's some screws and Allen wrench in there. Alright, so now for the base. Oh, here's an instruction manual. And I assume there's going to be a power supply in here. This is probably how it powers it. So here we go with the manual. And here's where that dome gets attached to his head. Now for the base. Alright, the base has a good amount of weight to it. It's not light. Boy, it's actually quite heavy. I guess because there's motors in there that make him move around. This thing weighs quite a few pounds. This is not lightweight at all. Good amount of heft to this. That's the control panel. That's going to control if it's just an LED mode. I guess there's a sound mode, there's a sensor mode, and I'm sure the knob is for volume. It says it's a 5.9 volt power supply, so that's a weird voltage. Didn't realize it until I closed the flap on the box. There's also some instructions here. I was so excited when I was opening it, never noticed it. I obviously didn't do good research on when I purchased this. I didn't realize how big the base is. It's a 34-inch diameter. It's huge. The location I had originally thought I was going to put the R2 won't fit. And even here, it's not ideal because there's not too much of a room here between the chair and this walkway. I might end up not using the base, but I'll put the R2 together with the base to see how everything functions. But ultimately, I think I'm going to have to take the base off. Well, the next step seems pretty straightforward. I think it'd be helpful to have two people, though. I've got to hook all these wires coming out of the base to the bottom of R2. And then he slips on this post here, and he's held in with a single screw going through the side of the center leg. So I'll see if I can get that done by myself. I'm not 100% sure I can, but we'll try it out. This is what the connectors look like. It's really simple, so everything is one-way plugs. You can't plug anything in backwards. It's all color-coded, so it's foolproof as far as connecting all the wires together. And then looking at the front of the R2, the screw is over here. We're just going to put a screw in here. There's a metal post that this thing is sitting on. So the screw is just going to go against that post so you can't pull him up and down. Alright, so once he's on the base, it's a lot easier, I think, to start working with it. So you grab the legs. The legs are well marked. There's an E and a D. So the E goes on the left side looking from the front of R2. And you use the two long bolts to screw in both legs. Getting the legs on, the left one gave me a lot of trouble. The screw went into the thread just fine without the leg on, but with the leg on, it was apparently driving the screw slightly off center, and it felt like it kept cross-threading the thread. I finally had to get a regular nut driver instead of that Allen wrench to help coax that screw to go into the thread. I have a feeling this piece here was just driving it in slightly crooked, and it was a struggle getting that screw in. The right side went in like butter. That was a non-issue. Alright, so for the next step, putting the dome on, the first thing you got to do is loosen the wing nut that's inside that square housing there. You're not going to see it with the camera, but you're going to have to screw that all the way out so the screw is not sticking inside of there. And then we'll put them on. It's kind of weird why this is a separate piece and it's not snapped in. I'm not clear on why they did that. So the next piece, it was obvious why the wing nut, when you screw it out, why they have to leave that front piece out. You need to be able to get your hand in there and tighten that wing nut down. I'm having a hard time locating the hole. There's a hole in the post, and then they want you to line the hole up without really seeing it, and then tighten down on that wing nut so you get the screw actually into the hole. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off again so you can see it. There is a cable there, so you got to be careful with the cable. You don't yank that too tight. So here is the hole. I don't know if the camera can see that because I'm in front of the camera right now. But it's a black post. There's the hole. Now obviously the wing nut's got to line up with that hole. And I guess maybe if you put them down flush, it doesn't line up right with the hole. Okay, I guess I got it. Alright, obviously he's working. I need to find the dome. I'm going to be able to put this on while he's moving. He's pretty animated, I'll tell you that much, just like in the movie. The dome also looks slightly crooked. It looks like the left side is higher than the right side when you look at the edge here versus here. So I've got a small problem with my R2 unit. I took him off the base because every time he was sliding back, you would hear this clunk noise. And it was only when he was moving back, it would be clunk. And I was like, what is that about? Jumped on with Google to find out. A few people are complaining about it. Basically, this top base here when it's laying flat on the ground, I've got it on carpeting, which is what the problem apparently is. When it's laying flat on the ground proper, right now I've got it propped on its side, it's bumping these two screws here. And that's what's creating that clunk noise. So the problem is, I think this top disc rotates. It just doesn't move backward and forward. It's rotating. Because otherwise I would just cut 2 notches in the plastic here so that it would clear those screws. But with this thing rotating, I'd probably have to cut out a large section here. So I'm wondering if I could find a more recessed screw, or possibly take the screws out of the base that holds this control panel in place. This is the whole power unit back here. And find a different way to mount this so it doesn't have those 2 screws sticking out. So that's what I'm going to work on right now to figure it out. Okay, so what I did was I removed those 2 screws holding that panel in place that controls the R2. And the panel seems to hold in place even without those 2 screws. I'm sure it might fall out, but let's face it, this is not something that's mobile that you're going to be moving around. I guess you could, if you wanted to, secure it with some Velcro. I'm just going to leave it without the 2 screws in there, because I have a feeling over time, with that plate constantly rubbing against those 2 screws, it could possibly damage the servo motor in there. I don't know. But since the disc spins left and right, there was no way to easily just slot the disc for 2 slots to clear the screws. So I took them out, and I'm not going to put them back in. So now when you activate them, and he goes back, so he goes over those 2 screws, and that was the problem. So now he's as quiet as could be back there, no problem at all. So this is by far 0 regrets buying my R2. I absolutely love them. Oh, this is fantastic. Thank you to the folks on Facebook that hooked me into that tracker lacquer to find this, because my local Home Depot doesn't even have a demo unit to see it. And as far as I know, they never got one in stock, because I've been on their email alert since it came out and nothing. And that tracker lacquer, I scored one on the second shot, and you got to set up that instant one-click checkout with Home Depot, because if you go through the process of entering your credit card number and address and everything, they'll be gone by the time you finish entering that data. Alright, R2 is all set up, and I'm having a ball. this is really fantastic. All right, well, I hope everybody that wants one can somehow find one. Maybe Home Depot can get the manufacturer to make more of these. I don't know if these are coming back next year or not. I'm not familiar with how that works, or if this is just a 1-year offering. But this is a home run and a half. I absolutely love it. It's a shame that they didn't anticipate the stock correctly, because it's obvious a lot of people want him. And playing these games with the tracker lacquer to get one is about the only way I can see about doing it. I don't think my local Home Depot ever got one in stock. They don't have a demo at the store, and I did sign up for the Home Depot email alerts, and I never got an email alert. So just do that setup with the one-click buy at Home Depot and set up your tracker lacquer. Luckily, I was able to get my R2 on the second email alert. So good luck. R2 is definitely worth getting.